Have you ever seen a headline that just demands a closer look? We definitely have.
Oh, absolutely.
And today, we're diving into one. It sounds pretty straightforward at first. A big oil deal announced by former U.S. President Donald Trump, involving the U.S. and Pakistan.
Right. Standard stuff, maybe?
Exactly. But the real hook, the bit that makes this deep dive, well, really compelling, is the unexpected mention of India, right smack in the middle of it all.
Yeah, that's the part that raises eyebrows. Because this isn't just about oil, is it? When you hear an announcement like that, especially from him, it immediately makes you think about the layers underneath. Complex trade stuff, geopolitics, the whole regional picture.
It's rarely just about the oil itself.
Never just the oil. It's like pulling a thread, like you said.
So that's our mission for this deep dive. We're using insights from Trump's U.S.-Pakistan oil deal and regional trade dynamics to really unpack what was announced.
And why it might have been announced then.
Yes, the motivations. And crucially, what are the kind of ripple effects for global trade, for stability in that region? Was it a real deal or maybe more of a strategic signal?
A lot to dig into.
Okay, let's unpack this. So let's start right there with the announcement itself. Trump announces this deal with Pakistan to develop what he called the country's massive oil reserves.
Massive being the key word there.
Right. And he even got specific, saying the U.S. and Pakistan would work together. They'd choose a leading oil company for it.
Okay.
But then, and here's where it gets really interesting, he just sort of casually adds this suggestion that Pakistan could potentially sell this oil to India down the road.
Wow. Yeah, it definitely feels like a curveball, given the usual dynamics.
Doesn't it?
And what's fascinating, really, is putting this proposed deal into the bigger picture. The timing, this wasn't happening in a vacuum. It landed right around the time Trump was imposing, I think it was a 25% tariff on Indian imports.
Ah, okay. So there's a direct trade link there.
Absolutely. The stated reasons were things like the U.S. pointing to trade imbalances and also, significantly, India buying Russian oil.
Right. That was a major point of contention.
It was. So broadly, you had the U.S. trying to shrink its trade deficit.
Right.
Buying less than it sells.
Yeah.
Tariffs are one tool for that.
Trying to rebalance the books, essentially.
Exactly. Meanwhile, India is trying to shield its own key sectors like agriculture and exports that employ a lot of people.
So the oil deal announcement, it could be seen as what, leverage, a piece in that bigger trade game?
It certainly seems plausible, doesn't it? Like a way to signal something, maybe put a bit of pressure on within those wider trade talks.
Strategic overstatement, perhaps. Which brings us back to that word, massive.
Yeah.
The massive oil reserves. What are the actual facts on the ground there? Is Pakistan really sitting on this huge amount of oil, or was it that maybe more rhetoric, serving that trade narrative?
Well, yeah, that's where you see the power of a single word, right? Massive creates an impression. The concrete data. Pakistan has about 353.5 million barrels of proven oil reserves.
Okay, 353 million. How does that stack up globally?
It puts them around 52nd in the world. So to put it in perspective, that's maybe what a major producer pumps out in a couple of weeks.
Not exactly world-changing then?
Not really, no. Not enough to fundamentally shift global energy markets or even regional supply based on proven reserves alone. So massive is, well, it's relative.
But is there potential for more? Was he maybe talking about something not yet proven?
That's the nuance.
Yeah.
There has been recent seismic work, surveys suggesting potential hydrocarbon formations, particularly offshore in the Indus Basin.
So potential, like they think there might be something there.
Exactly. Think of it like finding an old map that might lead to treasure. It suggests something could be there.
So you still have to dig.
You still have to dig and confirm it's actually there, and if it's economically viable to get out. That's the key difference. Potential versus proven, extractable reserves. It often gets glossed over.
That distinction is crucial. Proven versus potential. It really changes the story.
Absolutely. It highlights how much of this announcement seems built on future possibilities, not current facts.
So thinking about those future possibilities, let's circle back to that India idea. Pakistan's selling oil to India.
Yeah.
What would actually need to happen for that to be even remotely realistic? I mean, what are the real prerequisites here? It raises that fundamental question, doesn't it? What shifts would be needed for that kind of trade?
Well, according to the source material we looked at, there are some pretty major prerequisites. Big ones.
Like what?
First, you'd need those reserves to be confirmed. And not just confirmed, but substantially larger than what's currently proven. Way more than that 350 million barrels.
Okay, so step one is finding a lot more oil.
A lot more. Second, You need a massive scale-up in production capacity. That takes huge investment and time.
Right?
And maybe the biggest hurdle of all, you need significantly improved diplomatic relations between Pakistan and India.
Ah, yeah. That's not insignificant.
Not insignificant, is putting it mildly. The relationship has been complex, often tense, for decades. So this isn't just an economic calculation.
It shows how these big political statements can kind of float above the reality on the ground.
Totally. Both the geological reality and the diplomatic reality. It feels like a classic case of signaling, making a statement rather than outlining a concrete, workable plan, unless those huge underlying issues change first.
And that diplomatic piece, it's not just India-Pakistan, is it? There are wider ripples. How does a potential U.S.-Pakistan oil venture, even just the idea of it, affect other big players, like China?
That's a huge question. If we connect this to the bigger picture.
Yeah,
it's not just about the U.S. and Pakistan.
China has invested heavily in Pakistan, right, through CPEC.
Immensely. The China-Pakistan Economic Corridor involves billions in infrastructure, energy projects, access to ports. It's strategically vital for Beijing.
So big U.S. energy play there, China would definitely notice.
Oh, absolutely. Large-scale U.S. involvement in a key sector like energy in Pakistan. That would definitely introduce new dynamics, maybe new tensions, into that established China-Pakistan relationship.
So geopolitical chess. But what about Pakistan itself? Developing these potential reserves.
That's the other side of the coin. The economic challenges for Pakistan are enormous.
They're enormous.
Well, estimates put the required investment at around $5 billion just to develop the fields.
$5 billion. Wow.
And that's over a time frame of maybe 4 to 5 years before you see significant oil flow.
And Pakistan's economy, it's been facing serious challenges already, hasn't it?
Exactly. Finding $5 billion for a speculative energy project amidst an existing economic crisis. That's a massive ask.
And is the infrastructure even there, like refineries?
That's another key point. Pakistan has limited refining capacity. So even if they found and extracted a lot of crude oil...
You couldn't necessarily process it all themselves.
Right. They might have to export the crude and then import back the refined products like gasoline and diesel, which kind of undermines the whole economic benefit, doesn't it?
Yeah, it really does. So we're looking at billions in investment needed over years in a tough economic climate for oil that might not be there in large quantities with refining limitations, potentially to sell to a neighbor with whom relations are historically difficult.
Pretty much sums it up.
It really sounds like a geopolitical tightrope walk. Just highlights the sheer scale of the commitment, the long-term challenges. It goes way beyond that initial sort of bold statement.
It's far beyond the headline grab.
So as we wrap up this deep dive then, we started with what looked like a simple headline, U.S.-Pakistan oil deal.
Seems straightforward.
But we found it's tangled up with complex U.S.-India trade fights, the hard realities of geology, what's proven versus what's just potential.
Right, the crucial difference.
And of course, the deep-seated regional politics between India and Pakistan and the China factor lurking in the background.
It really shows how much can be hidden just beneath the surface of a news announcement.
Doesn't it just?
Yeah. The real story, it seems, is often in those details. The necessary conditions, the existing hurdles, economic, geological, diplomatic, that any big announcement like this has to actually navigate.
It's a reminder.
It is a potent reminder that these ambitious geopolitical statements often collide with cold, hard reality. The economics, the geology, the tricky diplomatic dances.
So many ifs and buts.
Exactly. What this deep dive really shows is how many of those are tucked away behind the bold print. Makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What other big pronouncements out there might be resting on similarly shaky ground?